Bonjour de la ma, everybody. Welcome here to Champs-Elysees as we're getting set for pole day qualifying for tomorrow afternoon's French Grand Prix, our seventh race of the second season of the Winston Cup Series. Waiting for find out who will be the first car out onto the track here for this pole day qualifying session. As we are seeing a nice look of the beautiful country of France. First time we are ever visiting the country of France. Before we find out who will start on the pole position, we first have to determine who will be the seven drivers locking themselves into the show. And we already got our first driver out on track. That is Molly Watts. I know I said Mia Watts earlier in the season, but it is Molly Watts. That is the younger sister. She's attempting to qualify to get back in the top 35. As we have taken these drivers across the pond to the country of France. Hopefully, we're going to see a very exciting race here today as these drivers are going down the hill. If you notice, I've turned the objects off so that way we can see the cars a little bit better. Especially this portion of the track where you can't see the cars. As here comes Mia Watts getting ready to start her first time lap of this qualifying session. It is a 10-minute session for these drivers, just like it was 2 weeks ago at Sonoma. I'm in a VC uh, for the D2 server since as we'll be getting ready to start the final. And looking forward to a good match. It's Geo and My Hell that's playing. As here we come, see Molly Watts' first official lap. It is a 121.925. Got Joe Moore trying to make his first start. Skylar Davidson in the number 73. Skylar trying to make her second start of the season. Joe Moore trying to make his rookie debut in the Cup Series. Jesse Art trying to make her second start of the year. Had a good run at Auto Club a couple of races ago, but never got to make Sonoma last time out. Driving the 97 this week, Shyla Askarov. And she is a part-time driver, going to run the road course races. She's full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series. She's got Q-Man right behind her. As Summit Oskin went quickest right now. Shyla driving the Sharpie car this week. $21,743 for Askarov. There's Quinton, 21.559. Alexander Road just on track, trying to make his second start of the year. Chloe Erickson fell out of the top 35. Now she's back in Gargam qualifying. That was because the 45 was in the top 35 still, but she had a poor result last time out at Sonoma. Max Anderson, the 23. Max is also trying to make his second start of the year. Shane Earnhardt in the 95 machine, trying to make his first start of the year. I know he's been trying his best to make his Winston Cup debut. Could this weekend finally be the weekend for the Cheetah Chevrolet out of Stanton Barrett Motorsports? Right now, he's looking pretty good so far. As we are down to like under 4 minutes to go in the session, there's Christian Williams, this week's driver, the 25. Christian will be making his debut next time out at the Martinsville Dirt. That is in 2 weeks' time. See if Christian can improve his second lap. Carlos Rodriguez went to the top of the timesheets, and he improves to 19th. So Ben Erickson failed to qualify for Sonoma. This is his second weekend back after serving a 3-race suspension for the incident at Rockingham. And he's currently on the outside looking in as far as that is concerned. Jacob Foster made the race last week at Sonoma. Started 13th in that race, ended up 12th. Good run for Jacob. We'll see his drivers Futaba Sakura and Ellie Rose at Martinsville in 2 weeks' time. There's the fastest. That's Carlos Rodriguez. Right behind him is Azar Mirmuez. Theoretically, you can say this will be the closest that Azar Mirmuez will get to a home race. Of course, she is from Egypt. The only one of a couple of drivers from Egypt. There's Saman Ozkin trying to make the show this week. Noah Tutu, this week's driver, the 92, so the Canadian hasn't made a race yet. Grubius goes to a 29.14. Brenda Eveling has yet to make a start in the Winston Cup Series, but when we go to Martinsville in 2 weeks, that will definitely change as we'll run the dirt race. There's Grubius in the Nicorette colors on her Dodge. Second quickest. Dylan Ibrahimian, fifth quickest right now in the 50. He's yet to make a race since Coca-Cola. Bora Park yet to make her Winston Cup debut. Get her out the 21.390, 121.390. Matthew Hubert made the race last time out. Kasumi Takashi doesn't look like she's going to make the show. There's Sarah Taylor. She's yet to make a race in a while. Michael Brown. There's Phelan Bradley, was a hero last time out at Sonoma 2 weeks ago. Eric Alpha made the show after the 45 team failed post-qualifying inspection. Ben Erickson jumps to sixth quickest. Luna Farmer, 12th quickest right now. There's Mohammed Zain, made the show last time out. Leo Hill made his debut last time out at Sonoma. 21st quickest this time around. There's Chloe Erickson. And we're about to have zeros on the clock As there's Carlos Rodriguez, the fastest. That is it. Time is up. Last chance for a driver to try to get in the show. Ibrahimian is on the bubble. Well, as soon as I say that, Skylar Davidson put her car into the field for now, along with Azara Mirmoez. But it's looking likely Carlos Rodriguez is going to make the show this week. And how many starts is this for Carlos, you ask? As I'm going to check here. This will be his third start on the season for Carlos. Grubius glad to be back in the field. Azar Mirmoez. There's Summit Oskin. He will make the show. That bumps Skylar Davidson. Bora Park with a blistering 121.177. That bumps Skylar Davidson out of the show. Puts Ben Erickson on the bubble, but because the times are going to be finalized, that's it. What a great lap for the South Korean. And Buick will make their debut in the Winston Cup Series. Took us to race number 7 to get in the show. Great job for them. So it'll be Carlos Rodriguez, the fastest in this session. He will transfer into the show. As I'm going to go ahead and shut up the deal where it says drivers to your cars. Lauren Grubius, Summit Oskin, Shade Earnhardt will make his Winston Cup debut. Made his Busch debut a few weeks ago back at Auto Club. We'll see how he does in the Cup Series. Azar Mirmoez, Bora Park, and Ben Erickson back in the field this week. Those are your 7 that will make the show. Look at the difference there. 7 1,000s as far as that is concerned. Unfortunately for the drivers who failed to qualify, Skylar Davidson, Dylan Ibrahimian, Kasumi Takashi, Michael Brown, Noah Tutu, Michael Anderson, Shyla Askarov. So her first DNQ in the Cup Series. And if I look at the schedule here, I believe her next attempt, if I go back to the schedule, her next attempt will not be until we go to the HLR circuit in Vancouver. That would be her next attempt. Of course, she did not attempt, I don't think she attempted Sonoma, so her next attempt will be the HLR circuit as far as that is concerned. Chloe Erickson, Daniel Gitteroth, Luna Farmer, Jacob Foster, Quinton Moore, Eric Alpha, Joe Moore, Matthew Hubert, Leo Hill, Sarah Taylor, Christian Williams, Mohammed Zain, Brenda Eveling really needs to make a start, but looks like that will change next time out at Martinsville Dirt. Mia Watts, Phelan Bradley, Alexander Rowe, and Jesse Ard. Those drivers will not race tomorrow afternoon. Find it interesting, the 2 drivers that made it into Rockingham, North Carolina that failed post-qualifying inspection were the slowest. Jesse didn't get out of the 21.816 area, so that's not good. But those drivers, unfortunately, will be going home, and we'll see them in 2 weeks' time when we go to the dirt track at Martinsville. So there you go. Congratulations to the 7 drivers who have transferred into the show this week. We're going to take a commercial break. On the other side of the break, we'll get ready to bring the other 35 drivers out on the track for round 2 of qualifying as Pole Day qualifying here at Champs-Elysees continues here on the Blue Hedgehog TV. Welcome back to Champs-Elysees here in France. Getting ready for second round qualifying for tomorrow's Winston Cup Series inaugural French Grand Prix. As we're going to get ready to see who will be the first driver out onto the track. Looks like Summit Oskin is going to be, I think he's the first one on track, unless somebody's already out on the track before him. Yeah, it's going to be Summit. Of course, he's already starting his lap, so the next time by when he gets up to speed, he'll be beginning his first official time lap. So Summit Oskin is making his. If I go back to the points table, Summit is making his third start on the year. He is 58th in the points. So Summit will complete his first lap, even though he was on pit road. But this will be the next one he's going to do. Will be the official first time lap 132.719. Yeah, that's his get up to speed lap. So this will be his first official time lap. Of course, he's going to have some traffic coming um, to the end of this session. Tatum Wright's already set a time. That was because her pit stall is behind the start finish line. So she will officially begin her first official time lap. Jake Green's already set a time. That's because his pit stall is also behind the start finish line. So if you're seeing a lot of these drivers put a 1:32 second time, that's because their stalls are behind the start finish line. So this will be the actual first official time lap. And of course, Summit will come around and complete that lap. And let's see what the benchmark time is going to be for the 33. And it's going to be a 121.883. That will be the benchmark time for him. Nathan Orman in the 5 in the CarQuest colors this week. Of course, he's also on his first official time lap. Ormy dropped 10 spots down to 16th in the points. He also lost the points lead. It is now only 31 points between himself and the guy he's running down for the rookie points lead. That would be Jay Green. Ormy looking for a bounce back here this weekend. Monica Towns, our pole sitter a couple of weeks ago from Auto Club, dropped down to 31st in the points. But she's got a healthy enough of a point cushion between herself and 35th in the standings. So she needs to try to get some more gap between herself and 35th. There's Lauren Grubius. This is her fourth start, excuse me. Fell out of the top 35. Failed to qualify the last two races. And she got loose trying to catch Kevin Joseph there. Rubius is 38th in the points. She is a total of 14 points below the 35th in the standings cut line to be locked into the show this week. Cody Smart goes to the top of the timesheets. Cody needs a good run because he's right near that 35th in the standings cut line. He's 34th in the points. The problem is he is about 17 points below or above the 35th in the standings cut line. Liliana Beta running the new Fusion we will see next season in Winston Cup. Todd Montgomery, currently 40th quickest. 15th in points, he moved up 3 spots. And Drake Robertson jumped up 4 spots to 28th in the points, so he's done a good job to get away from 35th in the standings. Betty Johnson, 22nd in points, gained 3 spots after last week or 2 weeks ago at Sonoma. Riley Anderson had a rough California tour. Dropped down to 18th in the points, lost 10 spots after Sonoma, running the throwback Viagra car. Elena Aurora in the 31. Dropped 9 spots down to 23rd position in the points. The reason I'm muted is because I don't want to hear the commentating going on between the D2 final, the D2 losers final. There's Annie Crenshaw, last week's winner. Moved up 8 spots to 8th in the points. Her third Winston Cup win, her first of this season. Running the snap-on colors on her Miller Lite Dodge. The white, red, and you can say the blue number deuce this week. Trying to make it in collaboration of the country of France. Senor Sean. Sean gained 8 spots up to 14th in the points, so Sean's having a much better start to the season. There's the camouflage colors for Ben Tennyson this week. Brad Lewis in the USG sheetrock colors this week. He'll also run that at Chicagoland later in the year. Tennyson 17th in the points table. Brad Lewis dropped 3 spots down to 20th in the points. Ben Erickson, who raced his way in. Of course, this is his first race back from a 3-race suspension. He is now 47th in the points table. So he's looking for much better fortune here tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully he gets a much better respect for everybody in the paddock. Ashley Horton, she was the slowest. Now she's 40th quickest. Horton, 33rd in the points. She's a total of 22 points above the 35th in the standings cut line. Anna Blue Jay in the 48 machine. Anna gained 7 spots up to 6th in the points. There's Maddie Crenshaw, lost the points lead. First time this season we've had a points lead change. That's excluding Rockingham, North Carolina, because Chloe Erickson was a go-or-go-homer, by the way. Maddie dropped down to 3rd in the points table. And who is the new points leader, you ask? Jessica Miller, currently 8th quickest on the board, right beside Lucy Myers. Lucy dropped 2 spots to 29th in the points. Jessica Miller is the points leader over the gal that's trying to run her down for the points lead. Tatum Wright, who's 2nd in points coming in this race. This young lady right here, Ashlyn Wright, Tatum's sister, is in the critical 35th in the standings this week, making her 4th Winston Cup start of her career. Raced her way in, got a good finish last week or 2 weeks ago at Sonoma, I should say. Jumped her up to that critical 35th in the standings. Which Ashlyn Wright has done a good job trying to get a good finish to get herself back in the top 35 in points to be locked in the show. So both the Wright sisters will race tomorrow afternoon. But it's not with Ashlyn Wright having to race her way in. It's because she is in the top 35 in points. There's the hometown hero, Josephine Bouvier. This is her home race. This is what the fans have been waiting to see, to have a French driver racing at a French track. Here in Champs-Elysees. We are, by the way, north of Paris. We're actually northwest of Paris, this track is located. Bouvier currently 40th quickest, but good to have her in her home race. Gained 5 spots up to 21st in the points, so we'll see what kind of a hometown gift you would say for her. You could also say this is going to be the closest that Ponzo Albanus, Elena Aurora, and Venko Seaman are going to get to a home race this season. Since we are in Europe, Ponzo is fourth quickest. He's also been doing a good job staying in the top 35 in points. The problem is he's 30th in the points, so he really needs to get away from 35th in the standings. And speaking of Venko Seaman, he is the quickest, so 121.197 for the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Do want to correct one thing I said back at Coca-Cola for Michael Brown. I said that was his first career win in the Craftsman Truck Series. It's actually his second win because I forgot he won at Chicagoland last season, which came one race too late. So it's his second career truck win, first on the year. So I want to make sure I put a little note on there. Venko Seaman doing a very good job. And it's really critical for Ashlyn Wright to have a good result here because a poor finish, just like that, she's back outside the top 35 in owner points. Here's the good news for Ashlyn Wright. Since she's in that 35th in the standings cut line, she would be, I believe, if she gets a good result tomorrow, she would be in race number 2 for the race in 2 weeks at Martinsville Dirt, because we're going to have 2 races instead of one goer going qualifying, 1 race. So we're going to have 2 races. And I can tell you, it's going to shake up the top 35 in points for good. Here's another European driver. The closest she will get to a home race, that would be Bora Park. And you should think that some of these drivers that ran Champs-Elysees in the Red Bull GT Series, they would be drivers to watch tomorrow afternoon. As Bora currently 27th quickest. She is from South Korea. First time Buick is making their Winston Cup debut. There's Timmy Turner in the number 32 machine. Turner dropped 4 spots down to 27th in the points, so needs to get his season turned around pronto. Betty Barrett, 32nd in the points. She is 25 points above the 35th in the standings cut line, so she needs to have a much better result tomorrow afternoon, and where she's qualifying is not really good. And with about 10 seconds left to go, I don't think anybody's going to touch that 121.197 that Venko Seaman put down. And this would be the second pole on the season for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. So Venko Seaman will lead us to green tomorrow afternoon. Note the start time, noon Eastern Standard Time. Of course, qualifying took part at 1 p.m., which is still going on right now. A lot of those drivers that really need to bounce back, a couple of them are right near that 35th in the standings cut line, having a good session. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to take a lap around Champs-Elysees with one of these drivers if we don't have a yellow between now and then. And like we talked about back at Sonoma 2 weeks ago, we're going to see strategy, strategy, strategy. Pit strategy was key. It was definitely a key for Seaman, or definitely a key for Annie Crenshaw when she won at Infineon Raceway 2 weeks ago. And looks like the grid is going to be set for tomorrow afternoon's race. So Vanko Seaman, his second pole on the season, second pole in the year for DEI. He will lead us to green tomorrow afternoon. He'll be alongside of Ben Tennyson in the 0-1. Riley Anderson, Ponzo Albanese will make up row number 2. Jessica Miller, Liliana Beto will be the highest rookie driver in row number 3. Jessica Miller, by the way, the points leader coming in this race. Cody Smart is in row number 4 with Ashlyn Wright. I just had something to drink. Hope y'all don't mind. Annie Thomas, last timeout's pole sitter at Sonoma, and Ashley Reynolds will complete the top 10. If you're hearing Discord in the background, I'm in the VC. As looks like we're about to get underway with the match, and I'm going to get ready to watch the stream on my TV. So, yeah, there we go. Shade Earnhardt's going to start 16th tomorrow afternoon. Azar starts 19th. Looking at the rest of the qualifying result, find out where your road ringers are going to be starting. Looking at the drivers, Jay Green, the rookie points leader, starting in 33rd. The guy that's trying to run him down for the rookie of the year points lead, Nathan Orman, 38th. But again, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Pit strategy is going to be a factor. Strategy is going to be important. Michael Anderson's got his work cut out starting last. Ashley Horton, second race in a row. She's going to be at the rear of the field. Josephine Bouvier, not a good run. Look at all those Roush cars starting really deep in this field here tomorrow afternoon. We'll see what Bora Park can do in her debut, as it's going to be a very fun road course race. Don't know how many laps we're going to do tomorrow afternoon, but should be a very fun race here in the French Grand Prix here at Champs-Elysees. Hope you guys enjoyed this qualifying session. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We showed your starting lineup for tomorrow afternoon's race, just the Cup drivers this weekend. We'll see the Busch drivers in 2 weeks' time when they join up with the Cup drivers at Martinsville Dirt, which there will not be go or go home qualifying, just an FYI. That means everybody from Busch and Cup will be locked into the show before we join up with the Truck Series drivers at Pocono Raceway that following week. Until tomorrow afternoon, when we see you guys then, and for our studio engineer, Caleb Hobbs, I'm Dean DeVos. Thank you for joining me and saying good night here from Champs-Elysees here in France. We congratulate Vanko Seaman on his second pole of the season. Coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. Talk to you again tomorrow, everybody. You've been watching the World Racing Association of Grace Racing since 2013.